Reconciliation is about acknowledging and understanding our shared histories in Canada so we can move forward together and build communities that are equitable, inclusive, and prosperous for everyone.
The opportunity to go to Nutana and learn how to bead from some Indigenous leaders was phenomenal for me, and it really gave me an appreciation at how difficult it is and the intricacy and the time and the pattern that goes into the beautiful beadwork that they do. Mine definitely was not up to par or near any of that. It's going to take a lot of practice to be able to make even some of the small items that have been made in the past.
It was really awesome to have the Huskie student athletes in my classroom at Nutana Collegiate. When they came in, they were very excited to get down to learning. They weren't shy at all.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just thoughtfulness and the patience that goes into beading. I know we learned that the energy that you give off while you're beading is remembered within the beads. So I think it's just a good reminder moving into other areas of your life to hold on to that patience and positivity for the things that we spend a lot of our time on.
Just in terms of the appreciation for the beads, I definitely gained a whole level of appreciation for it. I knew about the beadings from my mom. She works a lot of Indigenous youth back in Regina and does a lot of stuff in the community. So she brought me a bunch growing up, and especially in high school I had a bunch of lanyards. Yeah, just really emphasized when I was working on it, just like the process of it and going into detail. Just like the different beads and just like the warming of the wax, and just it's like not just a simple thing you just do in every day. So I definitely gained a lot of knowledge and appreciation for it through this process, and something that hopefully others will understand and will share going forward.
As a coach, it's very important to build your program to include a ton of diversity. That's where learning comes from, that's where teaching comes from. So I think when we get the opportunity to send our athletes into the community to learn something completely new, like the beading experience, I think that's incredibly powerful for not only an individual's growth, but our team growth, our team cohesion, and our ability to accept different viewpoints, learn from different viewpoints, and use those towards our goals.
For me, a lesson that stood out in the beading teachings was patience and having patience with the process. It was very interesting to see how each part of the beading process contributed to the whole at the very end. And I think as student athletes, sometimes we get caught up in day-to-day things and how sometimes it can be a grind, a burden, but I think doing these beadings, it really shows that the process, we need to enjoy the process, and we need to enjoy and see the progress that we're having with it.
The university students were really, really determined, and I don't know if it was just they were trying to be in competition because they're athletes, but they were so determined to have a final product to, I guess, within their own hands, bear witness to something that they could make with their own hands.
I think I have a more appreciation for bead making now, because I would see people walking around with beads and I never knew what they were. And so when we got there and I figured out that they were part of Indigenous culture, I thought that was super cool. And so now when I see that, I recognize that and I'm like, okay, no, that's really awesome. And just the time and the effort that goes into making them, thinking of the design that you want to do and the patience that it requires and the energy and the effort that goes into it, I thought that was really cool. And so now I have a newfound appreciation for that.
This beading program was pretty special for our team. We really looked at the opportunity to get our hands on the beads, work with our local community members at Nutana Collegiate, and really just take the opportunity to learn and experience what beading is like. It was a pretty remarkable experience for our athletes, our teams, our coaches, our Huskie Athletics staff to really come together and share with the Nutana students. I think about the feeling and the connection that I heard about many of them coming together, how they said they didn't think that it would be as impactful on them, as emotional, as much of an experience that they would really think and reflect about. And that's really what fills me with a sense of pride with this program, because it was a new initiative, it was a new opportunity, and everyone really jumped right into the deep end.
The Huskie Athletes, administration, and coaches that got an opportunity to participate in this program have had nothing but positive responses. We were grateful for the opportunity to learn from Candace and her husband the teachings that went into lanyard making. We were also grateful for the opportunity to work with students from Newtown Collegiate and learn and listen to their stories as well.
We embarked on this initiative together to support economic reconciliation and our commitment to call to action number 92, number 87 as it relates to sport. It is our obligation to ensure that Indigenous inclusion is a priority for all events, so we were honored to be the presenting and reconciliation sponsor for this event.